That's,
Um,
that's the right answer. Uh, there's a teacher in New York, famous uh, Buddhist meditation instructor, and he begins his day by asking his students, uh, "Who are you?" They all go, "Don't know. What's gonna happen next? Don't know. Good, you ready? Go." It's in the right place. So I wanted to begin with a poem today.
Let me mute everybody.
It's by William Stafford, who um, I've always loved. He wrote from 1914 to 1993. And this one's entitled Listening. So a lot of people come to meditation wanting to have uh, higher states of consciousness. Uh, they want to experience some kind of mystical union with God. They want to fix things like depression or anxiety. And those things may happen. The paradox is the more you try to make them happen, the less likely you are to have them. And that's because of the nature of our brains, that the striving part of our brain is not the part that receives the meditative states. So when we're in fight or flight, we're striving. When we're striving, you can't relax. Your relaxation is in the ventral part of your vagus nerve. You're in the wrong part of your body. So he's talking about his dad. People have a natural spirituality. We make this far more complicated than it is. Remember, Jesus said, consider the lilies, consider the children, consider the beasts of the field. They're in the kingdom. They're in the state of consciousness we want to be in. So how hard can it be if your dog gets it and you don't? Maybe you need to rethink the way you're in the world. So he's talking here about his father and a quality he noticed in his father that you'll see in meditators. My father could hear a little animal step or a moth in the dark against the screen, and every far sound called the listening out into places where the rest of us had never been. More spoke to him from the soft wild night than came to our porch for us on the wind. We would watch him look up and his face go keen till the walls of the world flared and widened. My father heard so much that we still stand inviting the quiet by turning the face, waiting for a time when something in the night will touch us too from that other place. So as we've been studying, our minds screen 97% of the reality that's out there. And today we're going to look, we've been doing, Julia, a thing where we've looked at the default position of the brain, the monkey mind, and how it functions in terms of filtering everything through me, through the lens of me. It's the part that creates the ego. It's also the part that does social cognition. What are you thinking about me? Why did you say that? What do I need to do? How am I standing in relation to other people? It's the part that's always future tripping, past tripping, uh, back in, vain regret about the past, anxious anticipation of the future. All the time talking to itself, creating a narrative, telling me the story of me. And that's why I jokingly said, everything we say about me and my life. So that's one of the major filters in there. Then the vagus nerve, which goes between what Jesus called the kingdom, which is ventral, where I feel meaningful, I feel relaxed, I'm at ease, I feel home in the world. And then I can shift in a second and be anxious and worried and feel like I'm struggling and having to defend and protect myself. And then I get exhausted with that and I go dorsal, which is also part of the parasympathetic nervous system. And I just want to give up. I'm a failure. All the people around me, I'm a burden to them, and there's no hope, nothing off in the future. That's just a function of our nervous systems, and the medical industry is making a ton of money off of calling that depression and anxiety, when it's really your nervous system. So last week we were on neurotransmitters. Today we're going to do right and left brain. And this is reading from Jill Bolte Taylor. She had a stroke, and she's head of the brain bank at Harvard University. And as she was having the stroke, she knew exactly what parts of her brain were being attacked. Well, the left side of her brain was where the stroke was, and as it was happening, her language functions were shutting down, but also her sense of self was shutting down, and she was going into this mystical oneness with life where she didn't care whether she lived or died. It made no difference to her. And so she was having to struggle when she would get just enough functioning back in her left brain to get an ambulance there, 911. She called the office. They noticed she was struggling, so they sent someone out to get her. So here's the woman, leading expert on the brain, having this. And so she wrote down in a book called My Stroke of Insight some of what she found. She said, I understand that no matter what information is being processed or not being processed in my two hemispheres, I still experience the collective of myself as a single entity with a single mind. I do believe that the consciousness we exhibit is the collective consciousness of whatever cells are functioning, and that both of our hemispheres complement one another as they create a single, seamless perception of the world. When we evaluate the unique characteristics of the two cerebral hemispheres and how they process information differently, it seems obvious that they would manifest unique value systems that would consequently result in very different personalities. Some of us have nurtured both our characters and are really good at utilizing the skills and personalities of both sides, allowing them to support, influence, and temper one another as we lead our lives. Others of us, however, are quite unilateral in our thinking, either exhibiting extremely rigid thinking patterns that are analytically critical, which is extreme left brain, or we seldom connect to the common reality and spend most of our time with our heads in the clouds, extreme right brain. Creating a healthy balance between our two characters enables us the ability to remain cognitively flexible enough to welcome change, which is your right hemisphere, and yet remain concrete enough to stay on a path, which is why a lot of teachers, if you don't have enough left brain, enough analytical quality to discipline yourself to get on your mat, they won't take you on as a student because you're not going to make it. So, imagine what a compassionate world we could create if we set our minds to it. However, the expression of compassion is often a rarity in our society. Many of us spend an inordinate amount of time and energy degrading, insulting, and criticizing ourselves and others for having made wrong and bad decisions. When you berate yourself, have you ever questioned who is inside of you is doing the yelling and who are you yelling at? It's like I asked when Sharon Salzberg was saying, I get on my cushion, I get performance anxiety. Who's the audience you're playing to? And we never ask these kinds of questions. So, the more conscious attention we pay to any particular circuit, or the more time we spend thinking specific thoughts, the more impetus these circuits or thought patterns have to run against minimal external stimulation. Our minds are highly sophisticated seek and ye shall find instruments. We're designed to focus in on whatever we are looking for. So you need to pay attention again by focusing. What we're doing in meditation is we're beginning to pay attention to what's happening inside. Linnell this week with her groups has been focusing on pratyahara, turning inward. So now we begin to explain what are these two hemispheres of our brains up to. Let me get back to here. My right brain is all about the richness of the present moment. Does this sound familiar? So your right brain is your biggest asset in your meditation in that it's anchoring you in the present moment. Present moment awareness, feeling the sensations that are going on right here, shuts off the monkey mind, okay? So it automatically gives you an edge on letting go of that part of your brain, which is actively creating problems, and settling into the flow of the present moment and what's happening here. It also stops the time traveling. So your brain, when you're in the present moment, can't go to the past, can't go to the future. So we're training our brains to do this. My right brain, there is no judgment. So when we say non-judgmental awareness, again, that comes from right brain. When you're in the right brain, we don't make good, bad, I prefer, I don't prefer. We see everything as existing on a continuum. Takes things as they are. The temperature is cooler today than yesterday, but it doesn't matter. Today it will rain. That makes no difference. You may observe that a person is taller than another person, or this person has more money, but these are made without judgment. And when we say judgment, it is a judgment to say tall, okay? But there's no qualitative difference. It's not saying I'm better because I'm taller or I'm less than because I'm shorter. And that's the hard thing, I think, for you as students to hear in me, that if I make a distinction, it's not a criticism. It's simply a distinction. It's not an evaluation. Okay, so my right mind character is adventurous, celebrative of abundance, socially adept. It's sensitive to nonverbal communication. It's empathic, accurately decodes emotion. My right mind is open to the eternal flow whereby I exist at one with the universe. It is the seat of my divine mind, the knower, the wise woman, the observer. It is my intuition and my higher consciousness. So again, when you hear this, you can hear this is ventral. So when you're ventral, there's a close association with the right hemisphere, okay? Now we're going to jump over to what the other side of your brain is up to. Much as I adore the attitude, openness, and enthusiasm with which my right mind embraces life, my left mind is equally amazing. Please remember that this is the character I just spent the better part of a decade resurrecting after my stroke. My left mind is responsible for taking all that energy, all that information about the present moment, and all of those magnificent possibilities perceived by my right mind and shaping it into something manageable. So here we get the bridle. Here we take the wild horses and begin to get them moving in the same direction instead of fragmenting into multiple personalities. My left mind is the tool I use to communicate with the external world. Just as my right mind thinks in collages of images, my left mind thinks in language. It speaks to me constantly. Through the use of the brain chatter, it not only keeps me abreast of my life, but also manifests my identity. Via my left brain language center's ability to say I am, I become an independent entity separate from the eternal flow. As such, I become a solid, separate from the whole. My left brain is one of the finest tools in the universe when it comes to organizing information. It takes pride in its ability to categorize, organize, describe, judge, critically analyze absolutely everything. It thrives in its constant contemplation and calculations. Regardless of whether or not my mouth is running, my left brain stays busy theorizing, rationalizing, and memorizing. It's a perfectionist and an amazing housekeeper of the corporation or home. It constantly says everything has a place and everything belongs in its place. A right mind character values humanity, while our left brain character concerns itself with finances and economy. On the scale of doing, my left mind is a magnificent multitasker and loves performing as many functions as it can at the same time. As a matter of fact, take pride in that. It's a truly busy bee and partially measures its value by how many things it crosses off the daily to-do list. Because it thinks sequentially, it's great at mechanical manipulation. Its ability to focus on differences and distinguish characteristics makes it a natural builder. Both and, people. Both and. So we live in a society that is biased, very biased towards left brain. We live in a society that is very critical, that's very judgmental, that wants performance, that wants perfection, that measures our values by what we accomplish during the day. Therefore, we have overly developed the left side of our brain. So when we come in today to sit on our cushions, what we're doing is giving ourselves a break, learning to use the left brain, get on the cushion using the left brain during the meditation to keep our attention on our breath, to keep our attention on the present moment, but not letting it take over in terms of going into the future and trying to manipulate things that are to come that we aren't dealing with yet, or going into the past with regret over things the way they should have been, could have been. So that's our left brain working. So we use those well-honed skills to come into the present moment, but then part of the process is to value the right brain. And again, part of the reason we haven't valued the right brain is because it's been associated with the feminine. Okay, it's not only been associated with the feminine, it's been associated with the natural world. And the left brain has by far more masculine kinds of qualities traditionally. I'm just saying that's a cultural, not an absolute. But our disconnection from nature, our disconnection from the feminine, hasn't valued the softer side of life that can be brought to us through meditation. So again, realize that this where we're going is not the right place. It's a place. It's a place that we need for balance. We need flexibility, fluidity between both our hemispheres. The beauty of women, and I gotta say, you all are lucky. You all have the part that connects the two hemispheres called the corpus callosum. In women, it's about as thick as my thumb. In men, it's about as thick as my pinky. Men are dealing with a dial-up modem. We do not talk out of both sides of our hemisphere at the same time. We really can't access them simultaneously. So men have even more trouble communicating between their left and their right hemisphere. So guys, you're giving yourself an advantage here in learning to strengthen that connection between the two of them, which will again enrich your life. So rather than being a supernatural discipline, we're really learning how to be in the world, as Jesus said, abundantly, so that we can have a depth, a richness, a vividness, a real presence in this world. And we can bring that peace from the right brain into our busy lives. We can bring compassion in. We can begin to bring in a broader vision, a less judgmental mind into our daily lives, and give ourselves a break from the constant perfectionistic attacks of the left brain. So with that in mind, get into a comfortable position. So everything begins with the breath.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. I'll
About.
put my timer. Just observing the breath. noticing any tightness in the belly, letting the belly soften, breath come down into the abdomen. There are no flat bellies in meditation. As the breath comes in, the belly expands. As the breath leaves, the belly constricts, but not with effort. Feeling the shoulders soften, the shoulder blades begin to slide down the back, the heart opening. If mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the sensations of the breath. Letting your awareness on the breath be relaxed and gentle in its touch without judgment. Becoming actively curious about sensations. That are behind the filter of your brain. Like, what are the sensations in your sinuses? See what happens when your attention goes there. Sensations in the back of the throat. Sensations in the brachial tubes. All the delicious sensations being generated by the breath. Perhaps you may feel the increase in energy, very subtle increase in energy with the in-breath. You may feel the subtle energies as you exhale. The energy leaves on the breath, or out the feet and hands. Like a wave crashing in, full of nutrients and energy. The in-breath. With the out-breath, the wave rolling out, leaving the beach smooth, clean, calm. Breath teaches so much. It teaches us not to prefer the in-breath over the out-breath, not to prefer the wave rolling in over the wave rolling out. They co-create each other. Different, not better than. Feeling the body becoming soft and receptive. As it shifts towards the right brain, you can feel a little more expansive. The outline of your body a little less solid. More receptive of stimuli, sounds, temperature, the touch of your clothes. And as the body quiets, let your mind become spacious. Breathing in space. Clinging to nothing, resisting nothing. The sky lets everything pass through without judgment. Airplanes, pollution, birds, rain, clouds, all pass through. Gentle allowing. Feeling the heart soften into its natural state of compassionate awareness. I open my heart to the world. Anchored in this place of peace, non-judgment. I allow all fear to arise. I face it. I soften to it and receive its energy without hardening or closing. Keeping connection with the breath, correcting any tightening in the body if you feel it, allowing it to soften, mind spacious. You cling to something or resist it, just gently allow it to pass. Heart soft, receptive. As time passes, the left brain gets fatigued, feels its control loosening, body becomes distressed by the posture, anxieties about the time, anxieties about what needs to be done. This is the time when you get the most benefit in just being present to whatever emerges. Knowing everyone else is experiencing the same thing. And this is where the courage is built. Can I greet this place with the same joy that I greeted the initial breaths? Oop. There's Corinne. She disappeared. She's back.
Yeah, no way that was 20 minutes. That was like 10 minutes.
No, it
It
was
was
actually almost
18.
18. Yeah.
I know. It's just crazy.
Yeah. That's one of the things to know is that we're all having very different experiences of time when we meditate. For one person, it'll pass very quickly, and for another person, particularly if you're in pain, it'll seem like an eternity. So that's one of the things to notice. Remember, it's all grist for the mill, all awareness.
That was my experience at the first meditation retreat we ever went to. It's where Bart and I met. And I had never been to a weekend silent meditation retreat. And it was periods of sitting for 25 minutes, and then we would walk for 10, and then sit for another 25, and then maybe have a break or something. It was physically taxing. I know. I want you to come over here. And and the head monk, the bell ringer, was kind of. I sensed, Corinne, that it was taking forever for the 25 minutes to pass. I thought my body was going to die. I thought, I cannot, my legs are going to fall off. I can't do this anymore. And so to cope with it, I did sort of let my left brain took over. And I was like, in my mind, I was measuring. I was thinking, okay, if I'm sitting up tall, how tall is that? And then I'm supposed to be gazing out on the floor at about 2 or 3 feet. So, what's the right triangle? What's the hypotenuse? I mean, I was going crazy. Until she rang the bell. And I thought, oh, that was an example of.
Yeah. Definitely trying to get out of the present moment because you didn't like it. And remember, our brains are made more for avoiding than they are for approaching. So we're constantly devising cunning ways to avoid this moment. But we need to realize that's exactly where the suffering starts.
I was suffering.
You were suffering.
I was suffering.
You were suffering.
Avoiding dukkha is dukkha.
Yeah,
Dukkha,
yeah.
that is dukkha.
Yeah.
So that's what they call it. And so relaxed at ease is sukha, the exact opposite. Sukhasana and yoga is easy pose, relaxed, comfortable. And I have a lot of Buddha statues in my house. And someone asked me, why do I keep looking at this particular one? I said, because that's the Buddha in repose. Each one of them it's not about the Buddha, it's not worshiping the Buddha, it's reflecting an attitude of mind. And so when you see this, you see calm, you see peace, collection, containment. But when you see the Buddha like this, you see a very different, very relaxed, very comfortable in the world with ease. And that's the kind of the reason mindfulness works for me is because it enables me to do my everyday activities and carry that ease off the cushion into my everyday life. So again, any of you who have not watched it, watch Chef's Table. Watch the episode on called Temple Food. It's a Korean nun. And when you watch her cook, when you watch her garden, when you watch her harvest, when you see her walk through the door, everything is so graceful, so present, so with so much ease. She's a much better teacher than anything words can do about what a finished product might look like. Anybody else? What you got today?
Avoiding dukkha is dukkha.
Yes. So
Avoiding dukkha,
is
And-
dukkha that? Is
There you go.
That is dukkha. Okay, so
resisting.
that's what gets us into trouble. So most fundamental part of your brain, where it all starts, is at your brain stem. So everything that's coming in through your central nervous system gets filtered there at your medulla oblongata. Isn't that
I know.
so? Yeah. I was just thinking about the
a song about
phrase.
that.
Yeah, the song about that. Song about that. God, we're monkey mind today, so excuse us. So the first sort is, it decides, is this something that I need to avoid? Is this something that can enrich my life, or is it neutral? And it starts routing things from there. Well,
Which is that kind of judgment right away.
well, we hear judgment as judgment without evaluation, all right?
Right.
The evaluation that if it's uncomfortable, it needs to be avoided comes later. That comes up in the left brain. So that animals don't have that thought of avoiding discomfort. They experience the discomfort and act appropriately.
Oh.
We experience the discomfort and then start trying to figure out a way to fix it, or why it's happening, or why is it happening to me? And all that's the layering on of suffering, because I take what's going on personally because it's going against my preferences or my desire. So if I can deal with it the way an animal does at the level of sensation, soften to it,
Can't change it.
I'm not going to be able to, but it does change, because when I'm resisting, it's like grasping a hot coal with your fist. The harder you grasp it, the worse you hurt. So the natural thing, what we've done is we've overridden our natural reflex of letting go. If you grab a hot skillet, no one has to
Right.
teach you to let
let
go of the hot skillet. But what we've been taught all our lives is that we shouldn't be letting go of the hot skillet. Man up, what's wrong with you? Why can't you handle this? So we do insane things. We do insane things.
There's something that was, or something that just came to me from this morning's meditation is just, you know, for, and, until I was 38 or 39 years old, I didn't even realize that my body was in constriction. Well, until I met Bart and started meditation and started connecting to my body. And so if your baseline is constriction, you don't even know that there's anything else possible.
Exactly.
So true. And that's why, the folks I'm looking at on the screen and here, and my yogis are so far ahead of the game, because we're at least aware that we're not dominated by the monkey mind.
Like every day, it's like showing my body that there's another state of being that it can be in, because it really doesn't remember physically, experientially from the day before very much. It goes back, it does step down over time. It steps down the constriction little by little, but every day it's like I have to show it there's a place you can be. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then when it starts to constrict throughout the day, it's a lot easier to remember or to see it, because it's not my trying to change the baseline of my life, basically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as Bart said, everything begins with breath. So when we sit down to meditate, the first thing we can do is to notice our breath. How are we breathing? Are we breathing short, shallow breaths like we're hyperventilating? Or are we breathing in a more relaxed way, taking longer, deeper breaths? And that's kind of like, a thermometer to let us know what's going on in our bodies. If I sit down to meditate and I'm, taking short, shallow breaths, and
Yeah.
I'm noticing that, that's going to tell me something about what's going on. And then I can say, hey, wait a second. What's going on here? Oh, I'm really upset. And then I can make the choice to slow down. Taking a reading of your breath at any time, meditating or walking around, in every day, is kind of like the dashboard on your car. When you look at your dashboard and you see that your speedometer is going, is at 80 and the speed limit is 60, it's kind of like, whoa, what's going on with that? I need to slow down. Well, noticing your breath can be the same kind of thing. And we practice doing that in meditation. Just like Matthew said, our bodies don't necessarily remember, so we practice it in meditation so that we can take that on the road with us. Anytime during the day, we can notice how we're breathing and whether or not that's appropriate to the situation. I think Bart gave us a correlation one time. If there is a black bear chasing you, well, then yes, it is appropriate for you to be in fight or flight.
I'm sitting on the sofa in my own house and nothing going on. It's probably not appropriate, but we carry it over. And that's exactly right, Channy. So, one of the things when we talk about mindfulness is we're building kind of a pyramid where breath is the foundation of the pyramid, and then we're building up to the mind and the emotions and to the heart. Now, when we lose stability, that all collapses. So you always start back at the foundation. You relax the breath, relax the body, relax the mind. As you go through your day, we're talking about baseline. You can have a baseline awareness of your body and your breath while you're driving your car, while you're cooking, while you're doing the dishes. So this is not something that you're going to do just during this time period.
On the cushion.
Or even call it meditation. As a matter of fact, I noticed after about 7 or 8 years of meditation, I was doing less formal meditation, but I noticed that I was having more of a baseline of awareness of my body and my breath everywhere. So, that's definitely kind of something to, as Channy was saying, do those check-ins.
I love the analogy of the dashboard.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm teaching a class here called Meditation in Everyday Life. And the idea is that when we sit to meditate, we are practicing mindfulness and awareness. We are training our brains so that when we go out in the day and we are doing the various things that we do, we can check in by checking in. How are we breathing? Are we tensing up? Why is that?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I love it all.
On the other hand, listening to all of this is making me also think I've been sort of lucky that I had this small injury to witness this week and to heal. And I've been stunned by it's not my left brain telling my body to heal. And it's not my right brain, but it's the injury. It's the brain in the injury.
Oh.
It's like I'm not walking better because I'm telling my foot, now you got to try to walk better. I'm recognizing my foot is at the point where it's just doing it. And so unlike what Matthew says, which I totally understand, that you constrict and you have to remind yourself and breathe and go back to that baseline. There is something else going on in your body too. It's like my foot is healing itself and I'm watching it.
Yes,
It's not like I'm telling it to do it.
yes.
And my fears, I have those fears of pain and, oh, what if? And, I'm terrible at that. But I'd also recognize that there is this miracle going on down there, And so
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that.
Mm.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. Our bodies are trillions of cells working in high degree of sophisticated coordination to do the things that it do. And we don't need to be aware of it. And what we've created is a culture that is striving for health. And that's the paradox. The more we strive towards health, the unhealthier we get. Because health happens precisely when we let go and let the body do what it is designed to do. And yet we're afraid to do that. There's a wonderful book called The Pleasure Prescription, written by a physician who says we're the anxious healthy. And he said people who are relaxed, all this stuff know about blue zones. The people there are very relaxed. They're in community, they enjoy life, they laugh often, they listen to music, they dance. They gather, and they don't strive to be healthy. And yet the people they simply enjoy being alive and living in harmony with their surroundings. We can't give ourselves permission to do that. I mean, just try sitting on your sofa. Don't even try to meditate. Sit on your sofa and do absolutely nothing except appreciate the miracle of your body and what it's doing right now. And you're going to get bored out of your little baby mind in no time. And get restless.
No, you're going to beat yourself up for not accomplishing
anything, right? All the things I could be doing, why am I wasting my time on the sofa? So it's a great little experiment. You think you're free, but you'll begin to see how your conditioned mind, that's your conditioned mind, starts kicking your ass. Now, what has that got to do? We're rebranding ourselves now as healthy aging. Getting older, but getting better and getting healthier as you do that. Part of that is learning to undo all that things that we were taught to get us to the point that we can retire. Everything, all the left brain stuff that made us successful to get to a comfortable retirement works against us when we try to enjoy our retirement years. So this is kind of a way to begin to get back to our childhood, unless you become again as a little child, to be able to enjoy the gift that we've given ourselves of our retirement years.
I think it's
Tom?
No.
Who else?
Go ahead, Oz.
I think it's our body's intention that we should be well. It's our brain that creates the confusion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
What I want,
I love that. I love that idea. I'm sorry, Tom. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make the observation, since Bart started with left and right brain, is that one of the things we do in meditation is focus on our breathing. And I believe focusing on our breathing directly helps connect left and right brain.
Exactly. And many of the things that we do in yoga, for example, helps us connect, balance the left and right brain.
Left and right brain.
Yes.
But just focusing on breathing, you don't even have to do alternate nostril breathing. Focusing on breathing helps connect left and right brain.
Absolutely. So one thing, and I just want to layer this on before we go. In trauma work, some of you are following the neuroscience of trauma work. A lot of the teachings have to do with bilateral stimulation and crossing the midline, and some of the yoga poses that Linnell does where you stretch your right arm and left arm and right leg.
Diagonal stretching.
Diagonal stretching, and the EFT technique, and shifting your eyes to one corner and then to another corner. And one that I heard this week that I love is to stay straight ahead and then expand your peripheral vision. That's a fun one. But what that's doing is that's hemispherical integration. That's getting both hemispheres to work in concert with each other. So your traumatized brain is actually helped by going to your left brain, all right? You don't want to stay in the amygdala, which is the part, run away. It's happening again, it's going to happen again. That gets you down to be able to anchor yourself in the present moment, saying it's not happening now. But the right brain then has to come in and extend compassion and quit judging yourself because you're having PTSD, and say, this is just my body doing what it was designed to do. And I can sit and watch that and have compassion and extend compassion to that part that was
how
harmed.
human
Of me, yeah.
To
And
whatever,
and
be
treat it
suffering.
like you would a child who was hurt, you know.
Hey, one more thing to that. I just want to go back to Ajna's comment. That isn't that so endearing and compassionate that our body wants to have. And isn't that just enough? That's just enough. I've been really touched by that. I love my food so much better.
Judith Lasser, one of my favorite yogis, has a saying that is, your body is smarter than you are. Let it do its thing.
Yeah, let it do its thing.
Let it
Absolutely.
choose
And-
your shape and the pose. Let it, yeah.
Yep.
I think
So
this
it
is
looks like
Sherry.
Sherry's going to make it in time.
For the Om.
for the
Okay.
Om. So we Om. We do 3 rounds of Om. We used to do a COVID raspberry, which was like, what can you say about the situation that we do?
Now we do a wow. 3 rounds
in
of
honor
Om
of a friend of ours who just recently passed.
and a wow.
All
Okay?
righty.
You can unmute your devices if you like. All right. Deep breath in.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Thank y'all. Thanks so much, Bart.
Everybody,
Love
y'all have a good
great
week.
Have a good week.
Love
Hey,
you guys
Shrimpy
too.
people, Bart's going to be at the Revel tomorrow.
Bart's Tai Chi class is performing at 4 o'clock at the Revel.
On
If
the
you're
backstage.
in town. Yeah.
The
Great.
stage
Oh.
near the artist.
Daughter
Yep.
and my granddaughter. So
3
there's gonna be 3
generations.
generations of us.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a wow.
I'll be there. Come say hi.
Yeah, and I'll be there too.
Okay.
See y'all.
We'll
See you,
there.
Linnell and Bart. Thank y'all.
Hey, thanks, y'all.
Absolutely.
To everybody.